Good morning, FlossTube. My name is Deb or Deborah. I go by Science Knitster on Instagram, Twitter. Well, I'm not on Twitter very much, but I have an account. And Ravelry. I go by Science Knitster. And just wanted to say welcome. This is going to be a short update. This channel is about all of the fibery and other things I get up to with fiber, needles, fabric. Mainly it's been cross stitch and other stitching related activities, which is why I call it a floss tube. But I'm hoping this summer will be a little less stressful and I'll be able to get back to some of the other crafts I enjoy, like spinning, weaving, and quilting, and knitting too. No knitting this time, but anyway, I am a week late of where I wanted to post a new video, but I'm here. This should be pretty quick because I have something. It is about 8:30 right now, and I have something I need to do at 10 o'clock. So the plan is for this to be short, but if you are a regular viewer, you probably know my videos can be long. But this one should be short because I haven't been working on a whole lot. So before I get started, I wanted to say welcome to all the new subscribers. Since my last recording, I didn't check this morning because I don't really check that often, but I had noticed a lot of new subscriber notifications popping up in my email. So I took a look the other day and I had like 40 new subscribers in the last week or so. And so welcome. I hope you enjoy my videos, and we'll come back. And for those of you that are returning viewers, thank you for coming back. Lately, I've been starting my videos with whatever is in my mug. This is a Christmas mug, actually, Starbucks Christmas mug. But I use it to make my own version of a hazelnut latte that I brew with the blonde espresso roast. I really like the blonde roast. I don't know why. I'm a relatively recent coffee drinker. I used to only drink tea. Let's just say my favorite form of coffee is coffee ice cream. And I brew it in my French press, which looks like a TARDIS. This was a gift from my father for my birthday a couple years ago. So I brewed in here. So I don't make a like real espresso because I don't have an espresso machine. Maybe someday. I'm not sure I'm like into coffee enough to make it worth my while to buy an espresso machine. We'll see. But anyway, so I make my own. It's really more like a cafe au lait because it's half coffee and half almond milk. And then I put a little sugar-free hazelnut in it, which makes it 1 point on Weight Watchers, or WW, I guess is what they go by these days. So, speaking of birthdays, May is my birthday month. And those of you that are regular viewers may recall that I announced previously that I am working on my own mashup of Modern Folk Embroidery's Japanese hiragana sampler, and also Jacob has a katakana sampler. These are the two of the Japanese alphabets. Hiragana is used for Japanese words. Katakana is used for foreign words. And so I haven't actually bought the katakana sampler yet. I need to do that. I thought I had and then realized that I hadn't. So I need to do that because I'm making some progress. Not as much as I would like. I'll get to that in a moment. So I'm stitching this monochromatically in this. It's as old for my stash needle necessities you should be able to find the Threadworks color, and I'm trying to remember. I looked it up, and now I don't remember what the color name is, but I've mentioned it in previous videos, and I think I've mentioned it on Instagram too when I've shown this. So I'll probably look in my Instagram to see what this is, but it's Needle Necessities 113. But you can see I'm stitching it 2/2 on a 32 count linen. It's Zweigert, and let me see if that actually has, I left the tag on it. It is cream. So I am stitching this not just for my birthday, but also for Stitch Asia, which Abby Bella Stitch, and I forget who else. I always mean to look it up and I never do. But anyway, so I think I have, since the last time I showed this, I've extended this top border, and then I think I just had a couple of the symbols in. So I've been putting more of those in. So these are actual part of the alphabet. These are just motifs down here. So made a little progress on that. Mainly, well, I haven't made as much progress as I had hoped or had wanted, is work's been extremely busy. I teach at the local community college, and I am also chair of my department. And with the end of the semester, there's a lot to do. And and after over a year of this, I don't know about you guys, but after over a year of this pandemic thing, I'm exhausted. I know some people, I guess because they had long commutes, saved a lot of time working at home and were able to like do all this new stuff. I feel like last spring I had more time, but as summer came on and there was, at least for my job, a lot of the little things that you could easily solve in 5 minutes by walking down the hall or picking up the phone and talking to somebody became hours and hours of, you know, like 10 emails and then some things like you just never get an answer. And so you have to like keep it on your list of things to check on and not lose track of. And it's exhausting. Anyway, things should be calmer this summer because I won't really have chair duties because they're not paying us to be department chairs this summer. I am teaching, which will be fun. I enjoy interacting with the students, and I have some grant stuff to work on, helping, or actually leading, designing a new program that I need to get all the paperwork in so we can get the process started to get it approved. Anyway, back to stitching. Aside from being exhausted and actually several, not in a row, but like over the last, I guess it's been 3 weeks, there's been like 4 or 5 days where I just didn't stitch. At first it was because I had worked late, and by the time I had, you know, cleaned up the kitchen and all that stuff, it was time to Zoom with my husband, and I was just too tired. And I had been, let's just say I got to the point, this last week I got to the point where I was still trying to stitch in the evenings, even if I was really tired, and I was making a lot of mistakes. And they were the kind of mistakes where you couldn't fudge it. Like you had, because it would have caused more problems down the road type of thing. So basically I put that project away. I'll show you that in a second. And was just like, I just can't, I just even can't right now. And then I finally picked up some stuff that I'll show you. I actually worked on 4 different things in the last 3 weeks that either had a really easy repeating motif or was just stitch in a straight line that I could handle. Because my big project that would have been like, you know, easy fill in. I finished several weeks ago, Ann Roberts. So I am missing Ann Roberts. Of course, there were periods where she was a little challenging too. So, I've been spending most of my time on the hiragana sample, and really actually probably more of my time on Martha Dawson, which is a Hands Across the Sea. It is sampler, and it is also the Stitch Along sampler for our Sampler Years group on Facebook. And if you're into samplers, that is the group to join, because I spend too much money when I go and look on the pictures in there, just saying. Anyway, so I'm doing this one on the called for purled barley, or at least I should say not called for, but what the model was stitched on. But I'm using my own over dye conversion, and actually one of the things I had to do this week was play around with one of the reds that was really supposed to be sort of a salmony red, and it I don't know why I picked what I picked. I think it was because it was what 1-2-3 Stitch or one of those said was the color that went with the DMC. And when I finally pulled, I thought I had pulled the DMC, but apparently not. When I pulled the DMC, and I'm like, no, that doesn't really match, and it doesn't go with the other reds and pinks. So I chose a new one. So this is my over dye conversion. It's all it's Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Arts, and classic, a little bit of Classic Color Works. The new red that I pulled in is this Cherry Cobbler, which I think goes better with the pinks and the other reds that are in this, like Red Pear and stuff like that. So let me, where did my, oh, put it somewhere it doesn't belong. So I've actually made a bit of progress, but I would have made more if I had been making so many mistakes. So this is actually a restart. Martha Dawson was my New Year's New Start, but I made a huge boo-boo like right off the bat that I didn't realize, and then propagated the error. I didn't get that far. It was just a few leaves and a little bit of the vine. And I decided it would just be easier. Rather than pull it out, I just started over on the other end of the fabric, which I finally have cut this to size. And I will pick out the leaves and use that other piece of fabric for something else. But so I've been trying to get in the basic for the area I want to work in, some of the border, and the border is gorgeous. It's just it's a lot of counting, and it's not always, in some places it repeats exactly the same, in other places it doesn't. And like, so I have ended up pulling out part of this a couple times, down here a couple times, and then I was working in here and messed that all up, and I was just like, I need to put this away for a little bit, time out. But before that happened, I was really enjoying working on this, and it kind of became, let's see if I can get this in the light a little bit better, kind of became my obsession the way Ann Roberts was. So having a little trouble with my light today. It's getting a little cloudy. I have like every light in the place on. But anyway, so you can see. So I will get back to this maybe even this week. I'll see if it goes any better. I've got a few more chair things to finish up that I should have done before the end of the month. And then I can just focus on my summer and getting ready for fall. So, okay. So what else have I been working on? Well, I had planned to work on Blackbird Designs Casting a Spell for Dark 13, that Cozy Egg and Emily C., who's Eclectic Possessions on Instagram, run through the year on the 13th of each month, as well as their Dark October, all of October. And because, well, I had started stitching this back in October, my friend Susan, for those of you who are returning viewers, you may have heard me mention Susan before. She's my BFF, my best fiber friend, my best friend forever. Anyway, she's stitching this now too, and so I'm hoping that I can finish around the same time she does, and then we can get together and paint our boxes and do the finishing, because she's really good at finishing, and my finishing is better when Susan is there to tell me, do this, now do this. Now, like, I can read instructions, but sometimes it's just easier when somebody's there to show you. Okay, I'll admit it. I get lazy, right? Susan gets me back on track. So let me show you what I put in this time. So I am using the called for threads, but the kit that I bought actually has a different fabric, same count and everything. It's a Weeks Dye Works. This calls for Weeks Dye Works Confederate Gray, but we're stitching, at least mine is on cappuccino. So I had already put in these two parts, these big parts. So I decided to start working on these here because I figured, so this, I'm actually working on this one here because I figured with that repeating motif that, and the fact that I didn't have to count any higher than I think about 3, I could handle that. And this was last Sunday. So I think I started this when I forget when I started this. What was I doing? I forget. Probably watching FlossTube or a movie. Actually, I went to watching movies rather than FlossTube, so I'm way behind on FlossTube. And then I figure I could put my initial in pretty easily too. That shouldn't, you know, once you get the first few stitches in, everything else is more, you know, you don't actually have to count, you just see, does it hit in the right place type of thing. So yeah, so these are the threads, and I think they look great on this fabric. So these are all the called for Gentle Arts. So when I bought this, probably 2011, 2012, maybe, I'm not sure. I bought the whole kit, so I have the box too, but it comes unpainted, so you have to paint it yourself. So so I may work on that since Abby Bella Stitch and I forget who else. It's right now is during their Blackbird Designs Week, Sal Stitch Along. So I'll have something I could post for that. But I actually do have one other thing I posted last night on Instagram. Like I said, the way my brain was, I was like, okay, I need something that's just fill in or a straight line. Well, I just happened to be in the right place on a joyous day that I could easily put in another one of these little interior borders. And so that's what I did. Like, yesterday I was trying to get some stitching in. I was doing a little cooking too, I have to say. And the cooking I was doing also necessitated cleaning the kitchen several times. So, and I enjoy cooking. It's the cleaning up part I don't like so much. But anyways, I did keep it pretty clean, although this morning I messed up the kitchen and I need to clean it after I'm done recording this. Anyway, I am using the called for fabric, which is Picture This Plus Legacy. I'm using 36 count, which is the called for. And then I'm using mainly the called for over dyes, but there's a few things where there's just a few stitches, or there's minimal stitches that I am using the DMC for. I think those were even noted in here as being, you only need a little bit. Yeah, so there's the 2 colors, or 3, 1. There's 3 colors, where they mention, can easily use DMC as not much of this color is used in the sampler. So if I had the color, I'm using the overdye. If I didn't have it, I decided not to buy it just for a few stitches. So I'm using the DMC. So I think it's, yeah, there's 2 that I'm using the DMC for. So you can see against the fabric. Anyway, and I didn't actually show my progress, did I? Please excuse my flakiness. So, if you think I'm a little disjointed today, if I had filmed last Sunday or Saturday, it would have been way worse. I was very tired. I was like, you know what, I can't do it. And then I had planned to try to do like a short update during the week, but that obviously didn't happen because things were busier than I planned. We won't even go there. There are reasons. There were good reasons, but so basically it was this line that I put in. And then late yesterday afternoon or the evening, I forget, I was going to start putting in the satin stitches up here, and like my brain just could not. Okay. My brain could not. Let me just say, I have been doing all kinds of needlework since I was about 6 or 7 years old. I know how to do a satin stitch. It's not a big deal. But I just could not do it last night. Partly is because it was a sort of a, let me see, where did I put it back already? I don't even know where I put that down just now. Well, anyway, there's a part in the design where it makes sort of like a sawtooth, like on a sawtooth quilt. And I don't know, if I just couldn't see it, or my brain just couldn't, I was like, okay, put it away. And actually, I just remembered a 5th thing that I started working on last night. It's actually a new start. So I'll show that. It's right here, so I don't know why I forgot it. See? Tired. Anyway, so I put this in, and I think if I work on this some more, like so this one got put away because my brain just couldn't deal with the satin stitch last night anyway. But I can extend this border a little bit more. There's a new color that has to come in here, or I could be working on alphabets. Alphabets usually are pretty, especially on this one, they're not real ornate. So they're, you know, like if you can count to 2, you can put in the alphabet. But I can extend this, and this, you know, is real easy because it's very regular, you know, down this many, over that many, down this many, over that many. And then just, you know, how many of these little zigzags you need to do. And that will actually get me down to the next interior border, which is at least starts off the same color as the border that you're bringing down this way. What I'm trying to do is get down to, and for the life of me, oh, there it is. It got buried. I don't know how I managed to do that. What I'm trying to do is kind of, yeah, so I could basically extend this zigzag and get down to here and put that in. And then that would, and this is actually a couple of different colors. So I'm not sure how far I'll go here because it would require counting. But then I could, you know, start putting in some of these motifs. I've also thought about starting to put in some of these motifs, but that would be easier if I could get this sawtooth border in up here, which requires getting my brain to deal with the satin stitches. Maybe this week. I've actually been getting a little more sleep the last several days. With the semester formally over, I was like, okay, if something doesn't get done today, it can get done tomorrow. Anyway, last thing that I worked on is, oh shoot, I forgot to take this out of the hoop. So, those of you that are returning viewers might remember that Stitchly asked me to review their their little kit for beginner cross stitch folks. And I finally decided to start their first project, which is this little rainbow. And so I've started that. And I've been wanting to actually stitch this because it says that this will all wash away. So I want to see if that really happens before I do a formal review. So I don't really want to say much about that, except that, you know, like I said, I felt like I could deal with big blocks of color or straight lines or little motifs, and I'm like, oh, why don't I get that thing out and work on that? And I've been stitching in hand lately because I've been stitching left-handed because I had some issues with my right wrist. I'm right-handed, so it's a little slow going stitching in the hoop, but I wanted to at least start in the hoop so I could get the experience that basically someone who followed their directions would get. Okay, so that's what I've been working on. I do have some haul to share, so let me do that, and then I think I will end it there, and I'll have a regular full episode next week. I have some stuff coming in the mail, so let's just say there was a sale by Rogue Stitching on Picture This Plus fabric, and I may have purchased some things. Yeah. Okay, so these are actually, and I'm not going to take, forgive me, but I'm not going to take them out of their cellophane sleeves because it's a pain in the you-know-what to get them back in without getting the glue from the tab all over everything. But this is these are all that I'm going to show are all Hands Across the Sea sampler charts, and I bought them from Sassy Jack. She has a bunch on sale, and then I realized when my order came there was one that I really wanted, and I don't know why I forgot to put it in my cart. So I might have to go buy that one too. Anyway, she's had these on sale for quite a while, and I finally decided as a birthday treat to get some of the ones that I had planned to get. And this is one that I've been coveting for a while because of this bee skep. I really love bees and bee skeps. And so this is Miss Marianne Bourne's. I've seen several people do it, but the I think probably the one that that really got me like I have to buy this was Michelle Bendy Stitchies. So anyway, and then here's another one that I've been eyeing for a bit. Frances Grasby, 1845. So I think some of these I've been eyeing as, I think I want to do my own overdye conversion for. So Marianne Bourne's is one. I think this one would make a nice overdye conversion too. And then this one, I don't know if I'm actually going to stitch, but I love the colors. This is Harriet Heartland. I just love that combination of blue, green, red, yellow. And it's just all the words don't thrill me. But you know, I could put motifs in there. I could put other motifs in there or find, I know like, trying to think, I think it's Emily C had mentioned a couple of, this was like months and months ago, maybe even last year, I can't remember. But I was watching one of her videos and she was saying how she was going to replace, like she didn't really like the verse, so she was going to replace it. I just don't, the thought of doing all that over one doesn't excite me because that's all over one. And, you know, although, yeah, let's just say the verse is not particularly uplifting. Yes, all called by death to hear their doom. Yeah. I'll be honest, I don't remember why I picked this one. I think it was the colors and the motifs, and the fact that it includes some embroidery, not just cross stitches, because this is all embroidered. And my first needlework, and I still love it, is embroidery. It's just a little bit harder for me to do left-handed than, although I think I can get back into it as long as I don't have too much computer work to do. I think I can get back into it. This is another one that I've been thinking about for a while. Elizabeth Furness, 1836. I love the colors, the house, all the animals. I just thought it was pretty. And then Sally Stanfield. This seemed like it would be an easy one to do an over-dye conversion of. And it's, yeah. So I just thought it was cute. These were all on sale. Let's see what else came. I'm a member of the Embroiderers Guild of America, and the latest magazine came. And one thing that was in it that really intrigued me, I haven't had time to read the article, is an article on a form of Asian embroidery, since this is Asian and Pacific Islanders Heritage Month. So this would kind of go along with Stitch Asia also. So this is a form of quilting and embroidery called Kantha that is found in India and Bangladesh, that area of the world. So I believe this article is a little bit about the history and from what I just sort of glanced through the article, and apparently, you know, different areas, different regions, the women, you know, made the stitching their own and made up their own stitches, and so from one part of India or Bangladesh to another can be very different. And apparently from what little, again, what just sort of glancing through the article, I read apparently both Muslim and Hindu communities have this form of quilting and or embroidery, and apparently it's, you know, come into modern culture and high fashion and everything. So that looked really interesting, especially since Michelle Bendy Stitchy had shared with her patrons a link to a needle artist, and what's her name? That has whose family is originally from Palestine, who has she's got a YouTube channel, and I'll post links in the description after I post this. I might not get to it right away, but I will post it because it was really interesting. But it's a website where you can actually take classes to learn this form of Palestinian embroidery. And if things are as calm as I hope they are going to be this summer, I'm thinking I might try to take the beginning class. It looks like it should be fairly straightforward for someone who already cross stitches, because at least some of the stitches are cross stitch, or at least look like cross stitch. Whether they're executed exactly the same way, I am not sure, because I haven't really checked into it that much. But since I'm interested in all kinds of needlework, learning about the needlework of other cultures is something that's always been interesting to me. So here, living in South Texas, I'm interested in, I know I've tried to learn more about different forms of Mexican embroidery, Mexican convent samplers, things like that. I haven't gotten very far, but I like to learn about those things when I have a little time. So anyway, I think I will end this here, and I will have a more usual length, hopefully, next week, so I can get back on my every 2-week schedule. I think I should be able to maintain that through the summer. And I'm also hoping I'll have a little time to start playing with iMovie and maybe editing these so they're not so long and rambly. So next time I should have a little science at the end. We'll see if I have time or if I take too much time talking at you. But before I go, I did want to say a big thank you to Abby Bellastitch and Andrea's cautionary tale. My mind went totally, I'll be honest, Andrea, my mind went totally blank for a second. I'm like, I just watched your FlossTube yesterday. Anyway, thank you both for your shout outs, especially Andrea. I don't even know what to say. I was deeply touched by what you said about my video, so thank you. So if you came from because you saw something from one of them, again, welcome. Welcome back, everyone who's a regular viewer, and I'll have something for you next week. And just remember, take time to be kind to yourself and be kind to your neighbors. Bye.